scheduling part. So these are all the schedules that exist in the system. So once you've created all the candidates, batches, question papers are in place. Now all you need to do is schedule these assessments. So for click, so these are what it shows is all the schedules that already exist in the system. To be able to watch a particular schedule, you'll click on this I symbol and you'll able to get to know what is the schedule looking like. All the aspects of the schedule, whatever the settings of this schedule are. So we'll dive deeper into this schedule management by actually demoing you how to add a particular schedule. So I click on add a schedule. I'll click on languages which I want this test to be in. I'll select the client. I'll tell you the concept of the client also in a bit. If there is no client, you'll leave it blank. I'll select the industry. I'll select the course. I'll select all the papers, so whatever test I want, so all the test papers which have been created under this course will be shown in this drop down. I'll select the test paper. I'll select the batches which I have already maintained in the system. I'll select the batches for whom I'm scheduling this test. I'm selecting the training center. I'm putting a schedule name. Let's say half yearly exam. Okay, it could be any schedule name. I'm just putting a schedule name. I'll put a cutoff percentage. This is a cutoff percentage. It could be 50 as well, it could be 70 as well. We also have a capability in the system where you can define cutoff of your exam based on some topic or based on some module. What I mean by this is if you've got a maths exam, apart from having a 30% passing marks, you also need to score 50% in trigonometry and 70% in algebra, something like that. So apart from having a base level passing marks, I'm also defining the passing marks at a topic or a module level. I'll put a number of login attempts. It could be 10, it could be 20. The number of login attempts is just a way of allowing the users to log out and log in back in the system. If I'll select only one over here, it will be only one go or no go. You enter the system. If you logged out, even if the light goes, even if there's no electricity, power cut, etc., you won't be able to log in. If you want people to have, so you can put 1, you can put 10. Even if you want to give breaks in the system, you can put 2. Right? You put define time in minutes. Now you'll select instructions. What instruction you want to show for this exam. So this instruction is coming from where? From your masters. Correct. The same instructions will come over here. You'll select any instruction. You'll select the date window from when to when this particular test will be available. It could be a particular time or it could be a particular time range. It could be available for this entire week or it could be available from today from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So after 2 p.m. it will be available at the student's login and after 4 p.m. it will go off. So this is from and to date. You have the exam mode online or offline pen and paper. So online and offline pen and paper is basically a module that we've recently launched. Is basically you can also create handwritten pen and paper exams from the same system, right? So let's say you want to carry out a handwritten exam in the school. School doesn't want a digital exam. They don't want to do it. Probably because their board exams are happening on a pen and paper and they don't want any practice on digital exams. But still the system would provide the kind of analysis or the kind of power it gives you, that even a pen and paper could be digitized and the same analysis and same set of things could be used, right? I'll tell you how. Now you create your online or offline exam. If the question paper or if the schedule is having an assessor or without an assessor. If I am having an assessor for this exam, I'll select with assessor. A new selection is open where you need to select the number of the assessor you need to have. You'll select one assessor. Whether the assessor validation is required or not required, there is an annexure that we ask for a particular examination center. So there is annexure is basically nothing. It's a kind of validation which we need to ensure before starting an exam, right? It's basically some sort of a protocol which you need to ensure before starting an exam. So let's say I need to take pictures of that particular place, or I need to take a group picture of all the students. So it's kind of a checklist kind of a thing. So whether that is required or not required. Question appearance. There are 3 kinds of question appearance. One is random, right? Random means, so let's say you have 20 questions in your exam and you put 10 over here. 10 questions will be randomly selected for every instance and served to the user. 20 questions in the exam question paper. 10 questions will be randomly selected and served to the user for the exam. That is meant by random. Shuffle is you've got the same set of 20 questions. All 20 questions will be coming for every instance and shuffled in a shuffled manner. And default is the way that is created is given to every user. You can also shuffle your options, right? Your options can also be shuffled. But we've taken care in the system like none of the above, all of the above, all of the below kind of things will always stay on the top or always on the bottom. Now there are two kinds of practical question grading that we are able to put in the system. When I'm going to give you the practical demo in the app, then you'll know. So one is range and one is grade. A range is basically when you are asking a question from a particular from the student and you are basically marking him on a continuum. Let's say I've asked you some question and you've answered it, and I want to grade it on a continuum. Whether I found you excellent, whether I found you good, whether I found you moderate, or I found you poor. I'm marking you on a continuum basis. That's a range. And second is grade. Grade is the kind of question, let's say I've asked you a question, you are going to be answering me or not answering me. These are the only ways you can answer me. You are going to answer me yes or no. So let's say I ask you, let's say my question is, do you know about how to dust an air conditioner? Yes or no. So let's say you can say no or you can say yes. So I'll put yes. That kind of a grading. It's like a one grading. Yes or no, right? So these two kind of gradings are there for practical. Now coming to proctoring, you can press video recording if you want this. You put geotagging if you want this. You put random pictures if you want this. After how much interval this random picture will be taken? By default the system gives 3 minutes. If you want to increase it to 5 minutes, you can put 5. Candidate feedback. After every test, we take feedback from the candidates whether it is required or not required. Candidate validation, where ID proof is uploaded at the time of starting the assessment, whether it is required or not required. Log for every question, whether it is required or not required. Result show, result send on email and view result on screen. So just after completing the test, the result will be shown to the candidate or not shown. If you want it to be shown to the candidate and also email to the candidate, you will check both these boxes. Otherwise, you can leave them blank. Fixed time for every question. If you want every question for a fixed time, so let's say after 2 minutes you cannot attempt that particular question, or after 1 minute it will move further. Can move to previous question, yes or no. If you moved further, you cannot move back. Or you cannot jump from question number 1 to question number 10 or 9 back, and you can't do that. So you will select no over here. Otherwise it is by default yes. Can user submit test? So this is basically partial submission. So can I submit a test without all questions attempted? Yes or no. In the end, if you will check this box and as soon as you save it, an automated notification email will go to every student in this batch with their login ID of this particular schedule, intimating them about this particular schedule, that a test has been scheduled for them, and email will go out to all of them. If I check this, if I keep it blank, the email will not go. And that's how we schedule a particular test. Same way we can also do a psychometric scheduling. Psychometric, you have the similar set of parameters. You can add a schedule. All the existing tests schedules are existing over here. And you can add the schedule in the same manner. You will have slightly lesser number of features over here because it doesn't require those features. It doesn't require moving questions above, below, certain time for every question. It doesn't require all of that because actually a psychometric test is not even a test. It's just a way of understanding somebody's psychology. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. There is psychometric scheduling. So I'll cover the result part in my next session. But for now, what I'm going to tell you is the client list in this. I'll just take like 2 minutes to cover this concept. Tag scores is also capable to do is create sub clients of yours. So let's say I give you your own administrator login and let's say you are owner of an institute, and you have not just one institute, you have multiple institutes across the country. Or let's say you are owner of the training center and you have multiple branches or multiple training centers across the country, and you want to create every branch or every office or every institute which is situated in different parts of the country as an own independent entity. So what you will do is you will keep on adding your branches or your different institutes in this add company part. So when these companies are created in the system, there is a super user who is me, who is right now logged into the system, and then there are sub super users for each of those branches which are created in the system. Now when those sub super users would log into their login, they will only see what is happening in their institute. But at my level, I will be able to see all the branches, all the institutes which are across the country. Same aspects are replicated for the content, for the industries that we create. So let's say I create a content. I have got the capability to give that content to a particular branch or to all the branches. If I create a candidate, it can be created at a sub-super user level as well as at a super user level as well. Now another thing which I would like to tell you over here is we also work in a partner management philosophy. A partner is basically a channel partner of TagScores, who is nobody, just who is a business individual who is helping us increase our business. Do you understand the franchisee concept? It's kind of a franchisee. So what we are doing is TagScores has got a capability to float out its own franchisees as well. So how a franchisee is going to be developed is, let's say I am right now logged in as a franchisee of TagScores. I am a super user, but I am not an institute. I am a business owner, and I am also owning a franchisee of TagScores. So what I am doing is, as a business owner, I can go out to multiple institutes further. So let's say I introduce or I engage a channel partner in Philippines, and I give that geography to this channel partner of mine. So without me visiting this country, I can have this channel partner and share my revenues with him, and he himself can further create client for him who will be managed by the same software. We are the ones who are going to be supporting those clients. We are the ones who are going to be taking care of all the software needs, all the setup needs, etc. This person would only be maintaining the relationship, the liaising of the people or the clients, and we will be sharing the revenues with them. Two ways with which these clients are managed. One is if you have different branches and you want to manage each branch as an own individual company, or two, you can have a partner, a channel partner who have its own clients, but in a way those clients are also TagScores clients, but it has got a channel partner in between. But the system is same, like a franchisee system. To be able to add a company, create the company type, whether it is a council or a corporate. What is a council, what is a corporate, I'll tell you in a bit. Typically you create a corporate. You put the company name, you put the company email ID, put the telephone number, put the logo of the company, country, state, city, address, registration number, allocated assessments. So let's say I am a partner and I want to allocate 100 assessments to my client. After 100 assessments, he need to refill his account. It's like a credit. It's in a credit system. Pay X amount and 100 credits would be passed on to you, which is worth 100 assessments. After your meter of 100 assessment gets over, you need to refill. Assign industries. So while creating this user, you can assign multiple industries to him. But this doesn't mean that only these industries would be assigned to him. He can himself add more industries in the masters. It's like a hierarchical structure, but it's not till the nth level. It's just one level down. It's not like if I'm creating a client, a partner is creating a client, and the client can also create a client. So this section will not be available for that client, right? It's just one level. I can assign multiple courses. I can select topics under these courses. I can select topics and modules under these courses. Create this company in this system. So a company will be created. At any point in time, I will be able to see how many assessments are going on in each of these companies at my level. let's say I am a channel partner or the owner of an institute who having multiple institutes across the country or across the globe. So I am able to see this. Right?